What happened this year in Jacksonville is they won their first game and then lost their next 15. Here is Shad Khan, the owner of the team, talking about the 2 vacancies the Jaguars now have. They had general manager. As of yesterday, they have head coach with the firing of Doug Marrone.
Certainly, we have a lot of salary cap availability along with the draft picks and obviously the number 1 pick. But what's evaded the history of the Jags really has been a franchise quarterback. And I think what's unique certainly is that we have the ability now to make a choice, and it's going to define the franchise moving forward.
And he's absolutely right. They control the board. They've got the number 1 pick in the draft. They tanked the old-fashioned way, a multi-week effort that no one actually noticed. That's the way you do it, not in a primetime game in Week 17, but I digress. Doug Marrone is out. I think that Doug Marrone is out because they think they know who they're going to get. The fact that Urban Meyer, frankly, has been talking to way too many people about the belief held by him. And if he's wrong, the Jaguars had better say something. And the fact that they haven't said anything tends to cement the notion that what Urban Meyer is talking to people about is accurate. He thinks he's getting that job if he wants it. The question is, does he want it? I heard yesterday he's looking for $12 million a year, which really isn't all that crazy in light of what the market currently is for coaches.
Right.
And he just has to decide that he's willing to risk. And I think this is what it comes down to. Are you willing to risk your legacy as a great college coach to roll the dice at the next level, given that it's even harder at the next level to compete consistently, to win consistently, to control and to dominate consistently like he did at Florida and Ohio State? Nick Saban found that out the hard way, and it may be that Urban Meyer isn't willing to learn from Saban's example, and he has to reach out and touch that hot thing himself to realize that, yes, it is very hot.
Yeah, well, all right. I mean, first off, you're right. The $12 million thing, I think a lot of people were shocked like that. That's, David Tepper and Matt Rule changed the landscape for coaching. And $9.5 million for a guy who never coached in the NFL, yes, everything's changed. So that is like, if you are somewhat established, that's what you're making. Pete Carroll, Sean Payton, Andy Reid, Bill Belichick, trust me, they're making a lot more than $12 million a year. A lot more, okay? So that get that out of the way. I mean, everything you bring up with Urban Meyer, it's true. First off, yeah, there's questions about how he'll adjust to the NFL. One of the greatest things about Urban Meyer, yeah, he's a great football coach, but I was recruited by him when he was in a position coach at Notre Dame. He's got amazing people skills, so that's great. But that's also what gave him the great advantage at Florida and Ohio State because of recruiting. So you lose that aspect in the NFL. And I think the last thing with Urban Meyer, too, that would just scare me to a degree is we've seen he's got a little bit of a shelf life. He's getting up there in years. And the last 2 jobs he left at Florida and Ohio State were because he was stressed and tired. Usually stressed and tired doesn't go away as you get older. That becomes more. So that's where I would just be a little hesitant, or I guess I question it to a degree, Michael.
When his name first came up as a candidate for jobs, he was linked to the Jaguars and the Lions because Chris Spielman, the former Ohio State linebacker, is now whispering into the ear of owner Sheila Ford Hamp. And I found an old monologue from Chris Spielman on a podcast where he talked about the torment that Urban Meyer deals with. And I just wonder if the Lions aren't in this, it makes me wonder, does Chris Spielman truly believe that Meyer can deal with the torment at the NFL level, which is even worse than the college level, where you can't stack the deck with a great array of recruits? You got to deal with the salary cap. You got to deal with parity. You've got to deal with so much more stuff and so many more great coaches than when you're running roughshod over guys who are never going to see an NFL game without buying a ticket when you're going against some of these other college coaches. So I think that may be one of the reasons why we're only hearing Jaguars at this point for Urban Meyer. And that doesn't mean he's not going to be good.
Right.
But it's Nick Saban all over again, isn't it? And it could be after 1 year of it, Urban Meyer says, what the hell am I doing? Just like Nick Saban did. Nick Saban was miserable in Miami. He got out after 2 years. It just didn't fit with his skill set. And there's a chance that the NFL won't fit with Urban Meyer's skill set either.
That's what would scare me. That would. And listen, I doubt that. I do. I think if Urban Meyer decides to do it, he's very smart football man, X's and O's wise. He'll hire the correct people to help his football team out. but it is an adjustment. College football is not the same as the NFL. Like you said, the grind on the coaches is a different grind. You're not like fighting and clawing all week to make sure you can recruit and get the best players. You're fighting and clawing all week to make sure you have the advantage in 1 or 2 plays of the football game that'll get you over the hump to win it, because the team you're playing is every bit as good as you or better every week. That's where the stress gets on NFL, head football coaches. But Jacksonville, there is some young talent there. A guy like Urban Meyer would be big for that area. It's SEC country. He's very popular there. We know that. And, by all accounts, they got Trevor Lawrence coming to town. And that's not a bad, canvas to paint with if you're going to take over a head coaching job.
My big concern about Urban Meyer at this point is he wasn't able to recruit you to Notre Dame. That's a big negative for me.
Well, no.
Why didn't you go to Notre Dame?
I loved him. At the time, they were a little bit of like just run the football and play defense. They were a little bit prehistoric on the offensive side of the ball. And I can remember sitting at the pregame, at the spring game, my junior year at high school before my senior year, just going, I don't want to play in this offense. This is boring. So that was the end of that. Sorry, Notre Dame.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.